Hey there. Happy Thursday. Wow, what a beautiful day to be alive. I'm hanging here in Studio B here in Town, getting ready to go live with the ORIN Oracles. Now, I chose Studio B today because it's so lovely out here, and I'm listening to the orchestration of beautiful birds singing to me. And who knows, they may appear in the broadcast. I've already checked in with Elitom, and we seem to have good signal today. It's going to happen. So I'm just getting warmed up, and he's a live wire, this friend of mine, and I really appreciate this brother deeply. And we talked, it's been a month and a half ago or something, but we were just on fire in our conversation. We had so much fun. I thought, man, we got to do this. He's down with it. So he's in Cairo now. He was in some other town yesterday or Tuesday, which is why he wasn't getting a signal. But he's in Cairo now. He's got a good signal. I've got him in the queue, and he told me he had a few things to do, and he'd be getting back. So we're going to be happening. I trust. And next week, actually, on the ORIN Oracles, I'm going to have Jack Catran coming to me live from the UK. And that's going to be special. And I'm getting ready to produce my next ORIN Oracle, which, if you've been following the ORIN Oracle, I've been processing a lot of HB, and I've now got it down to Ormus. And it looks beautiful, really beautiful. So I'm excited about that. I think I'll produce that show tomorrow. The ORIN Oracle always takes a long time because of the production level. There's some clips and music and me and photos and those kind of things. So, yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow. Take that time. So, just chilling here in Studio B and waiting for Elitom to appear. He should be in there somewhere at some point. I'll look at the prompts, make sure it's in the invite. And so I'll just check on that. And if you're good, so people are messaging me. I had a person message me, and he wants to be my friend and be my brother, and that's all good. And I said, well, do you have a clue who I am? What I'm about at all? And he didn't. So I recommended that he go watch the video so he actually understands who he's talking to. Okay, let's go. There he is. I've got him coming in. Anyway, this friend told me they couldn't for Elitom. There he is.
Here I
Can you hear
am.
me, bro?
I hear you loud and clear.
Ah, sweet brother. You're looking beautiful as always.
Oh,
Welcome,
thank you.
welcome, welcome. How you doing over there today? Well, it's evening for you right now. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. They got
Yeah,
Ramadan
yeah.
going on here. So Ramadan is about to be over. So a lot of the people is coming out. Cafes is opening up. People have been praying throughout the day. So the energy has been very high. So that gave me a chance to meditate without being bothered. So it's a beautiful
That's awesome.
place around here.
Now, why are you in Egypt right now? I know you got a retreat planned there in the future, but are you just chilling or are you doing preparation? What are you up to there?
Well, actually, the reason why the retreat is going to go on in the future is because I came here. And
I see.
and also always wanted to see the pyramids, so I was so close to them, so I took advantage of it, and I'm glad I did. And also to meet the people and also to spread the message of living food free. Like I said, it works everywhere, so everywhere I go, I carry the message with me, whether it's an interview or not. This is
Yes. So, um, now, you've been like going on 18 years in this practice,
yes.
meditative, breatharianism, and how long ago this abstinence conversation? How long ago did that enter into the conversation?
Oh, and actually, you're talking about celibacy?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, actually,
yeah.
I ran into that knowledge at the same time as breatharianism, but I wasn't that much knowledgeable about, like I am now, on how it's the foundation of it, in my opinion, because you're dealing with that
Okay,
energy. Oh, go
yeah, expand on that a bunch. I know this is going to throw a curveball at a lot of people, so go ahead and expand on that thought.
ahead. So even when I started going into the food free, I was already practicing celibacy on the best knowledge I had. However, just like anything, when you start leaving heavy foods alone and going with no foods at all, most people who go into fasting will talk about the third day, the energy start getting very high. Plus you're meditating, open up these different channels. So back then, not having the knowledge I had got now, my energy got very, very high. So of course, guess what happened? Your sexual energy gets high. And if you don't have the knowledge on how to transmute it, there's only one way you're going to do with it is have sex that you're used to. So I found out
Yeah.
also that it drops my energy level again, and that forces you to eat external foods. So I started to put this together. So that's when I learned more knowledge on how to transmute that sexual energy instead of spending it. And as it begins to grow, it actually helps with the other chakras, and then that will help you to be sustained being food free, right? Because that root chakra, heat loves to rise upwards, and the brain needs something to compensate it for that loss of energy from when you was eating physical foods. So it needs something to replace it. So therefore, your sexual energy coming from that root chakra is one of the highest energies centers in the body. Of course, that's where our sperm come. That's where we were born at, and all the rest of this stuff. And where the woman, she has her sexual organs. So that force right there is needed in being food free. I mean, really going all the way with it.
Yes. Well, I've been basically, except for two brief occasions, but basically I've remained abstinent and all that for over 10 years
Oh,
myself.
awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. And, I'm at a point now where I don't know, I think I've had 3 meals in 5 days. I just keep processing the process.
Right,
Right now I'm working on creating my Ormus, so that I want to work on regenerating my teeth. So I've been processing all this aged urine now
Right.
for quite, I've been doing a whole series on it, and now I got it down to this Ormus that's just awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
See, the thing about these
yeah,
spiritual practices, one is like a domino effect. It's more than just being abstinence, because like I said, I added in that meditation also. The first phase is to make a
yeah,
commitment not to let the seed go. But the next commitment is what to do with that energy, how to harness it, how to bring it upward so it can heal you, your organs, your body, your mind. Because the more healthy the body becomes, it will draw energy to it on its own. That's what it's all about. Usually when people come into the process, they're not paying attention what I'm saying. And it's because
yes,
we live in this society of instant gratification. So people is looking at
yeah,
this the same way. And when you deal with energy cultivation, this isn't new. We had cultures like China who had this for a long time. And even when you go into the martial arts, that young student is working with chi flow through his body for like forever to build up, to get stronger. This is no difference. You have to build up your energy flow in order to see the fruits of it, to go into things that seem abnormal, but it's normal to the practitioner who's actually practicing it.
yes. No, that makes perfect sense. Now, I don't do, I don't sit in full lotus, but I do a lot of meditating, and actually I do it daily. And I did it again this morning. It's teeing off
Right.
on my local golf course at 6 a.m.
Oh,
And it's
absolutely.
just me.
Right.
There's nobody else out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a private Idaho.
Right.
It's awesome.
And even when people sleep, that's a meditation. That's unconscious meditation. That's why you regenerate when you sleep.
Subconscious.
Subconscious, exactly.
Yes.
I like
Yes.
that. And
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you actually understand the physiological nature of beingness with your conscious subconscious,
right.
these are an actual partnership that always
Absolutely.
work in cooperation, coordination.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I always refer to the conscious as the captain,
Right.
and I refer to the subconscious as the crew.
Mm-hmm.
And so, whatever the conscious mind is suggesting or reasoning or dictating or manipulating, controlling, or whatever it's doing, the subconscious only has one response, which is yes,
Right.
yes, yes. So, if we program the wrong shit in our brain, the
Exactly.
subconscious is going to support it 100%.
Oh, absolutely. Because we being creatures
Yeah.
of pleasure, everything we do, the main calculation is to have some form of pleasure. And like you said, if this
Yes.
mind does not have the wrong information, the body is going to say yes, just like a good servant. And what happens is,
Yes.
too, the human being is biologically ignorant on how what's taking place, so they're misreading themselves. In other words, you'll probably feel
Yes.
something in their intestines move, and that's nothing but toxicity moving, ready to work its way out, but we compute it as, oh, I'm hungry. Let me go put more toxins
Right.
in. So we're misreading.
Well, I always look at it as like the parasites are hungry.
Yeah.
And our mind buys into that logic. It's so Pavlovian.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, all
Yeah.
across the board, this is taking place with us. And even going back to the sexual energy, yes, there's things, our body's constantly making these sexual hormones. And just because we feel a certain way, we're being led chemically, and we're blaming it on love and blaming it on attractions. We're misreading the biology. Nobody told you you had to be with somebody for the rest of your life just because a hormone went on.
Yes. No, I totally get it. And I was a sex addict. So, I had 3 wives, 3 divorces, hundreds of girlfriends in the hundreds. And, a lot of people I lived with, and I realized that I had a complete disconnect.
Right.
From the expression of love and having sex as an attachment.
Absolutely.
So, there was that real misnomer And it took me a long time. That's what, my mother, God bless her, she died at 93 a few years ago.
Hmm.
But after my third wife, she said to me, you might want to think about taking a break.
Oh, right.
And I didn't realize that break was going to go on for 10 years plus, but
Mhm.
so far so good.
So
I
far,
mean,
so good.
I'm a happy camper.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not like I wouldn't want to have that relationship or have that expression or experience again. That would be a lie.
Right.
But, at this point, it's a misnomer. It doesn't even matter because that's not happening.
Oh, absolutely. And like I was showing one
Yeah.
young man how it's not like you're hating sex or anything like that. It just went to another understanding. In other words, I have some
Yeah.
beautiful relationships right now, with different women and so forth like this, but it just don't have to go to that physical expression. And actually,
Yes.
I'm getting a fruit of it that's better than like I never experienced in my life, because now all of those unhidden rules and strings is not attached. And that's what we do to each
Yes.
other. We give each other these unseen contracts.
Well, I had a friend tell me over 20 years ago, he said, whenever you start licking or poking the pee-pee, the dynamic
It
changes.
changes. Right, right.
Totally changes.
Totally.
Changes everything.
And I see it around
Yeah.
me all
And
the
I
time.
have a lot of what I call girl friends.
Right.
I have a lot of friends, so I have a lot of confidence and a lot of conversation. And, I really just adore people.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
just adore people.
Right.
The human experience is really as beautiful as you imagine it.
Oh, absolutely. And going back into the food
Yes.
freedom, when you're not using that sexual energy physically, it got to move somewhere. This is the power behind it. It's going to move. You can't
Yeah.
really hold it like that. So through training and meditation, it's going to come upwards now. Now, of course, the root chakra have to go through that abdomen. So this is where you'll find out also that food is related to sex. Uh-oh. Because one of the things, especially with both men and women, once they start hitting their 40s and 50s, they at least experience a time where they really can't, they become impotent. And that's usually due to
Yeah.
lifestyle, food, and stuff like that. So that determines also how your sexual energy is being spent. So when you start
Yes.
focusing on that, even if you still choose to eat, you got to eat the right foods. Keep that energy flowing and keep your sexual energy alive, because that's going to determine your health and also your life. So it's all about sex.
Now, you were talking about this energy or this fluid or whatever being shifted from that chakra and actually moving up the spine. I heard that in an earlier conversation you had somewhere. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Because your sperm, which we know that's physical, once you release it, it got to go somewhere. So it's going to reabsorb itself back into your blood. And once it gets into that blood circulation, because even your cerebral spinal fluid, it comes down from the brain, goes all the way down to your sacrum, but it comes back up to the brain again. It's making that circulation. But then we have a nerve in our brain called the vagus nerve. This is the longest cranial nerve in the body that comes from the brain, and it goes all through the body, going to the different organs like the heart, the liver, the lungs. So when it gets caught back up into that circulation through the vagus nerve, that's actually what's nourishing you. If you get a sperm, it got protein in it, fructose in it, B12, vitamin C. Matter of fact, if you look it up on the internet, sperm is like a super health drink.
Yeah.
Not much protein.
Well, then that always goes back to that, which sounds derogatory to say, do you swallow?
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying, though. I mean, it would be a health drink
Right.
rather than having a gag reflex in that experience, right? I mean, I'm just asking,
Everybody do say that even your Red Bull energy drinks, they put bull sperm in it. Now, I don't know how true that
Yeah.
is, but it has that much potency to it. So you're using this power
Yeah.
that's already in you a different way to improve your health. And again, this is a part of being food free. You are utilizing the powers that's already in you instead of wasting them, and you're utilizing these fluids that your body's already making. The power is already there. And then from there, you can just take off into other things. You start really training your mind, because 9 times out of 10, you're eating out of emotions. You're eating out of a habit. You're recreating.
Well, yeah, here's one of the things that I you know, being a nail biter, you know, having all sorts of things from the early childhood stuff, real early childhood stuff,
right,
that I recognize in my own experience, it has to do with an oral fixation.
right.
And there is an insatiable appetite for the oral fixation. So whether it's drink, food, sex, this, that, cigarettes,
Pleasure.
doesn't matter. You know, talking, whatever it is.
Right.
You know, there's a connector there.
Oh, absolutely. Because I even used to give people little cheaters, you know, as you're on a journey. Some of the cheaters was, especially in the summertime, you get the popsicles, you know, those freezy pops, you know, suck on those. Because then you start soothing your emotional body because it wants something to taste. You might get a little piece of candy and stuff like that. Those are good cheaters, I call them, or hackers, hacking a computer, until you get used to more being not having no taste at all and get the enjoyment of actually delight as it builds up in you. Because this energy flow, when your channels open up, is so powerful, how it start healing you, it start clearing your skin and all this other stuff. And it's really powerful. And that will outweigh on the way how food make you feel. It ain't about you not forgetting about, oh, this tastes like this, it tastes good. Once you feel that other feeling, that's the feeling you're going for. You feel better with more energy. You can touch your toes, your head, your forehead now can touch your knee. You want to stay in that state, because if not, you'll see your body going back like a sling. Back and forth, back and forth.
And here's something that I you know, really trust that most people don't understand, is that, you know, the food is an emotional response mechanism, not a physiological one.
Right.
You know, we generally eat because of our conditioning, and we usually eat because of some emotional charge.
Oh, absolutely.
Good, bad, ugly, and different. We're feeding some frenzy, and it has nothing to do with what our body really actually needs.
Oh, absolutely. I just seen some woman and her boyfriend break up, and I didn't even know it. I just looked at her and see how much weight she gained. In other words, she went straight to the food after the breakup took place to go fill that void.
Yes.
And that's not picking on her, but that's what people do. You're constantly trying to fill this void. And the thing about that desire of eating and sex, you know, I put them both together. Once that desire meets the pleasure, it disappears. And you find yourself in a cycle, keep trying to do it over and over again, and it keep disappearing. But when you start going the other direction towards the light, you feel fulfilled. The more your channels open up, you feel fulfilled, and you're out of that other cycle. But see, when you deal with these practices, as I'm saying it, it's easy and it's simple, but the hard part is actually what? Being consistent, working on yourself, like cultivating a plant, making sure the weeds is up from it, watching yourself grow day by day, month by month.
Here's how this is the process that I allow in a simple explanation for most the therapy, whatever the therapy is. And I have another question for you after this comment.
Right.
Is that it's all simple.
It's all simple.
But it's not easy, because we have to change what we're thinking, what we're doing, who we're being, how we're responding, what our emotional charges are. All of those things have to be redirected in order to get to that level.
Absolutely.
But the simplicity of it all is just there. It's just simple stuff. This is the inside job comments. I mean, how to get to your inside core and deal with that. That's simple stuff in my mind, and it becomes more effortless and easy every day. I don't work at it.
Right,
I practice it.
right.
Now, I want to ask you, in addition to your meditation and your celibacy and your breatharianism, are you practicing urine therapy?
Oh, no, I don't. I understand urine
Have,
therapy.
have you ever done it?
Oh, I
Have you ever
practice it.
done it?
I tried it once before. Now, the thing about urine,
Once.
well, yes. Now, it's a therapy. You got to keep that in mind. And there's many
Yes.
therapies. When you get on the breatharian levels of digesting and eating food, that's the whole idea. Because keep in mind that that urine comes out of your body. Once you get healthy, you don't need to do it no more. It's something that you don't need to do forever. You do a therapy to get healthy, and then you don't need to do it no more, especially when you understand what got you in that condition in the first place.
Yes. Now, now when you first tell me about how you discovered it. I mean, I discovered breatharianism about 20 years ago because I had a backup singer in my band
Right.
who told me she's a breatharian,
Uh-huh.
and I went, "What does that mean?" So that was the first time I even heard the term.
Right.
But I've really comprehended it more by reading Man's Higher Consciousness, Hilton Otamus, and other, through the process. So where did this introduction happen for you? Where did you first click that gear?
Actually, it's kind of funny. I was in veganism in the vegan community, but then I started rotating more to live and raw foods. And I loved it so much that I was about 80 to 90% raw. And I was kind of like boasting about it. Hey, look at me, I'm 90% raw. And this one young female walked up and said, but guess what? There's people who don't eat. And that just like threw me back for a loop. I said, wait a minute. Yeah,
Wow.
they call breatharians. And I don't remember the book she showed me, but it was a picture of people up on the mountain holding up their hands. And right there, that started the ball rolling. So of course I ran to the
So that was 18 years.
right.
That's when it started, like 18 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I got on the internet, tried to get as much information as I can. It was really limited, but of course, Jazz Muheen was out big time at that time, as for actually leading in the knowledge. And so, of course, I got her book, Living on Light, and start learning about the 21-day process and really start thinking and contemplating on it, on how can I make this work for me. So it was a lot of work even on that, on how can I redo it? Because I was in a situation. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, so do you interpret it in a photosynthesis?
Oh,
I mean, do
absolutely.
you use that? Yeah, okay. So you use that. I mean, I make that reference because I talk about this stuff, even though I'm only dabbling and have been dabbling, but consciously I know that that's the direction I'm heading.
Well, that's the
And
name.
I've been looking in that direction for a year
Right.
plus.
Well, that's the name of my second book, Human Photosynthesis 101. And
Oh,
and
okay.
photo means light, and synthesis means combining. So that's why while I was talking
Yes.
about how these practices play off of each other, one is on an electrical level dealing with our neural system, but that goes hand in hand with our endocrine system that works with chemicals. So these two systems, the electrical and the chemical, they're creating something when you understand it. So there's a combining
Yeah.
of these chemicals being made with this that's bringing forth that type of synthesis. And of course, I added in that sexual energy. It's more than just the energy of that you can't see. Yeah, there's something live that you're working with. For a male, you're working with your sperm, and for females, they got 3 different chemicals. One is copalines that they produce, and it's very powerful when it's cultivated. There's a female that I know who's celibate, and she really knows a lot about that knowledge, but it's very powerful, especially when the female is holding more magnetism and the male is holding more of the electrical energy. Both of them go hand in hand and just as powerful, but it's for both male and female what they could do with their sexual energy.
Now, would that be that woman that I watched an interview where, she did all the talking, she was monologuing, and you were pretty good window dressing in
Right,
that
right.
interview. I didn't see much of an interview.
Absolutely.
But that'd be the woman you're referring to, right? What's her name?
Marianne Petal. And right
Okay.
and right now we do have a sun technology and also sexual technology videos out there right now in the whole package. And that's on my website, and I'll give more of that. But we put that package together because even dealing with sun gazing, there's information out there, but right now I feel that everything has really become upgraded. See, even back then when I ran into breatharianism, they were still using far-fetched words that people really couldn't comprehend. Now we're breaking it down.
Like what?
Huh?
Like what? Like what? I mean, when
like say for instance,
far-fetched word.
Like say for instance, back then they was using metaphysical words like, and on the third day without eating, your higher I am monad connects to the higher force of your angels and they start supporting you. Okay, everybody don't want to hear that.
Oh, would that be a prize you get in the bottom of a box of Crystal Crunch?
Right.
That you drink with your almond milk?
Right. Right. So people don't really want to hear that no more because it don't make tangible sense. You know, give me something I can work with, to work with the energy of it, to cultivate it, and it makes more sense. And then you start watching yourself grow. And we're in a good age too, dealing with the internet. Of course, we're interviewing ourselves on 2 different continents. This is powerful. You can look up just about anything to train yourself with it, to watch yourself grow. If you wanted to run a marathon, how to start training. And this is the same way. I hate to use that word training because we know it's an allowing, but you're allowing yourself to go into that direction, to put your body into that type of, how we should say, that type of conditioning. So it can bring
it's a practice. Everything's a practice. Practice, process, practice, process, practice.
And we are habitual creatures. You're using your time doing something, believe me. What are you using your time with? Because it's all about time management. How are you spending your time energetically? And everybody's working with energy. You're either wasting it, like you're putting money in the bank and you keep bouncing the check, or you letting it accumulate and grow and spending it wisely. Same thing as it works with us.
Now, I want to bring up a couple of interesting ideas because I want to get some feedback from you.
Right.
Now, so far, you know, my understanding and development has expanded on the breatharianism really due to Hilton Hotemus and Dave Moore.
Right.
Particularly, but also in the fasting aspect with John Armstrong in the Water of Life.
Right.
Now, in putting all of these in perspective, if anything, I have so cured, really cured. My body was a mess, man.
Right.
I was really fucked up.
Right.
Okay, but the urine therapy is what got me to the place I am.
Right.
So if I was going to put in any alignment, a consideration, you know, for my highest good, my greatest health, my greatest practitionering, I would have to really I would consider myself a urinarian,
right?
Even more than a breatharian, because I really actually like my pee. I like how it feels. I like how it tastes. I like how, you know, rubbing it. I like sitting in my aged urine. I mean, all of these things are really significant in my process, in my development, in my healing. But I understand the fasting, and I understand the breatharianism and the photosynthesis. I understand all of that. So I'd like to get your, you know, I mean, and I appreciate, because Hilton Hotemus never talked about pee, okay? And he had nothing but examples in man's highest consciousness of how we can live on and on and on, regrow our teeth, do all these things. And he never talked about urine therapy. Me, I talk about urine therapy a lot because it's just changed my life.
Right. Well, usually when a person goes, like, first of all, a person really don't think deeper about themselves until the system goes down. Something happens with it.
Right. You need a wake-up call.
Right. That's your wake-up call. And the path that you take and what really healed you the most is going to stand out for you. And usually when that aspect stands out for you, what you want to do next is share it with others that went down the same road of experience that you know about. So usually you become the poster child for that. So you're the poster child right now for urine therapy.
Yeah, as it appears.
Right. So there's other
I don't go for all that GURU shit.
Right.
Okay, I leave that up to the Bhagwan and Muji or whoever. I mean, I come from that old, with Krishnamurti. Like, hey, don't give me all that shit. Okay,
Right.
I don't. Go
Absolutely.
do your own shit. Right. Hear my
Mhm.
words, but do your own shit.
And we as humanity, as a collective, we're coming from so many different avenues of life. You got different stations, in other words, where people have different healing melodies, what that person needs for them to continue the journey. See, we collectively are helping each other. You follow me?
Yes.
So there'll be a person.
Yeah, no, I think we make a good tag team, bro.
Oh, absolutely.
I knew that in our first conversation that, I mean, we went on, and I was going, oh man, this is too hilarious. I mean, yeah, I love your energy, your spirit, your attitude, your outlook, your knowledge. I mean, I love everything about you, bro.
Oh man,
everything.
But this is what it's all about. There's no one person holding just all the knowledge. You got all these different avenues of teachers with different things what people need, just like you're shopping off a shelf, but all of it is to help you into the light. Now, one thing what a person got to make sure, and this usually hurts people, they'll get into a diet change that helped them. But then they stay into that diet change too long, and there's other aches and pains that's taking place, but that's the body trying to tell them it's time to move on. But they're not listening to it. They stay with that diet because this is what helped me to be here, and it causes more problems. This is why I teach the step process. First I was eating meats, then I went vegan, then I went having raw, then I went more into juicing, then I found out about liquid dairy, and this is why I could teach these different avenues. But each place I was at, I seen the healing that took me there, but the body told me again, it's time to move on. And I just listened to that voice to keep moving on.
Well, and definitely for me, I've done all those variables.
Right.
I was a professional chef, so I had a lot of blood in my hands. So truth is, when I actually went vegan, and that's been like 4 years ago.
Right.
I did it on it was ethical. I finally kind of got it. I was in disconnect.
Right.
Totally in disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
But when I made the connection, I thought, not necessary. Why am I doing this?
Right.
And so I changed that MO.
Mm-hmm.
Now, only recently, and I mean recently, on this road trip I just took, I ate things I haven't eaten in 3.5 years.
Right.
And I just ate them, and I didn't attach to them. I didn't get goofy about them. I didn't know, where'd your ethics go? I didn't play any of that pony.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't bet on that dog.
Right.
I just rolled with it.
Exactly.
And, I've only had like a couple of meals in the last, 5 days. And this morning I just had a bunch of strawberries. I went dumpster diving yesterday. I really scored.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the freedom too that breatharianism gives you. Because once you find out that everything you're eating is sort of like not really sustaining you no way, you get out of that nutritional game. You just find out not to attach yourself to the experience, but enjoy the experience. So there is a level in breatharianism where people go through conscious eating. They don't even judge you.
Yes.
You go for what you really like, and you'll go through that experience. But over a period of time, it's up to you on when you want to continue. Dealing with your life circumstance, all that comes into play. What type of job you got, your family, do you got small kids, are they grown? All of this plays a part on where you want to go spiritually or physically with this journey. But what makes it good is it's up to you on when you want to decide to take it to another level. Mine's at the different degrees as I was raising my son as he got into different ages. When he was real young, of course, if we go to the movies, let me eat popcorn with my son. You follow me? And as I know it's going to
Yes,
give
I
your
follow
body,
you.
right.
Now, in the like I said, the urine therapy has been my main total physiological, mental, emotional. I mean, it has been the massive change for my experiential growth,
Right.
awakening. I feel good. I
Hmm.
just feel good all the time.
That's what it's all
Just
about.
doesn't matter what I do.
That's it.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, but the fasting also that went into serious detox on top of the urine therapy. So
Right.
I really understood how much process our body needs to grow through.
Hmm.
How much we need to take all of those inorganics out, all
Right.
that shit that's leaching in our body,
Hmm.
how much stuff is just causing us so much distress without our awareness.
Oh, absolutely. And then the beautiful
Yes.
thing about all of these healers, no matter what avenue you're on, there's always that other avenue that comes out on how is your relationship with everything and everybody around you, whether if you know them or you don't know them. That also brings more light into the body. And that's an avenue too that usually manifests itself, especially on the breatharian path or many paths. And you will really feel this energy coming towards you when you start really, instead of being stressed out, you're being more nice. Instead of being more
Yes.
forceful, you're allowing things to happen. And this brings more
Yes.
energy to the body and changes your whole makeup. Because it's all about
Yes.
we got this corruptible piece of us and we're perfecting it, we're tweaking it. You live with yourself every day. You talk to yourself every day.
Yeah. Well, and I live off the grid on 89 acres and shit in an outhouse, okay? So I spend a lot of time alone.
Right.
I mean, I talk to a lot of people, I'm a very, active person on the media,
Right.
and all that jazz. But more importantly, I spend 90% of my time alone,
Oh, absolutely. And
I- if not more.
that's
I mean, on a general scale.
that's funny you say that. Here in Egypt right now, there's one guy that I just met said, "Oh, you're not married? I see you all alone." And I said, "Well, no, I'm not married." He said, "Wow, you got so much freedom." Now he said that I didn't, but
Yeah, well, I've done the dance. I've entertained certain definitely have entertained a lot of dance steps, during the ball.
oh, exactly.
You know, but thing is that at this point in my life, I'm just doing me, being me, and letting it all be in one moment at a time. I do live in the now. I really do live in the be here now moment. There is no other moment than this one.
Right, right. And another
That's the only one I pay
misconception
attention to.
we've been taught too, the more you age, the more you start losing energy, because a person think they're getting weaker and stuff like that. Well, once you get into healing yourself again, and like you said, how you really healed over the years, even myself, I've seen that happen to myself, and you really start understanding this energetic path, actually, the more you age, the more energy your body start collecting. Because the more we stay into this realm, every day you live, it's like 36 x-rays you're being shot with every year, just living in this atmosphere. So if you really learn how to roll with these energies and balance them out, you'd be surprised how big your electromagnetic field could grow as you start aging. So this is going to be a whole nother ball game too, that people is going to look forward to aging, especially knowing this type of lifestyle to watch their energy grow. Uh,
Yeah, let's talk about this now. The electromagnetic energy field that we are,
right,
because I'm down with that completely. That we are electromagnetic fields, that we are liquid by nature,
mm-hmm.
and that we are conduits. And so that we can
Right,
utilize all of this senses, our pineal and pituitaries are valuable in this sequence because they take us into the other dimension, third eye, not blind, right?
right,
So as we, you know, the decalcification was the big trigger for me. My body was falling apart because of calcification.
Right.
Because of the acidic lifestyle I had, the diet I had, and it caused me nothing but distress.
Right.
So the pee is what accelerated me out of that. Now, people do that with distilled water, with juices, with fasting, whatever.
Right.
But, you know, the pee was just like taking high octane
Oh,
for
without a
me.
doubt.
I mean, the shit started going away so fast. I was like, what? You know, this is like crazy.
Right. Now, I want to say this too, because I like how you're talking about the urine therapy, so I want to add to it even more. Because there might be somebody who's interested. Now, my understanding is when I practiced it, first you should change your diet too, because whatever you put in your body, your pee changes. So usually they say you should eat a more of an elimination type diet because you're cleaning yourself out. And I guess you want your pee to be a lot more better too and taste good instead of being yucky from eating meat and all that.
Well, yeah, the more alkaline, you know, I mean, there would be the differential in principle from an acidic to an alkaline.
Right. Now, what they say is when your body catches a disease, your body is so intelligent, it knows the cure for that particular disease. Your body produces it inside. So when you pee, that cure is in the pee. This is my understanding.
Yes.
So when you take it in, you're reusing what your body is making to fight that organism or whatever is going with you, and it start really healing you even more at a faster basis. Now, like what I was saying.
Yes. Well, I mean, we're born in amniotic fluid, so let's like start there. Okay. I mean, we wouldn't even be here if we weren't doing urine therapy. Anybody that's dead or alive would not even have a conversation.
Oh,
so that
absolutely.
is just that's physiological proof right there how valuable the pee is.
Right.
And you know, the other thing is when you're talking about cleaning it up, diet wise, otherwise, and this is a strong point: salt, no salt, this, that, and the other.
Right.
Here is my experience and my perspective point of view.
Right.
That morning pee that I drink, it does not matter. What I ate last night, what I did before, it could be dark, it could be dank, it could be bitter, it could be salty, but I know that one right there, that's the power punch. There's your monster drink.
Right.
There's your rock star. You know, that one right there. Hey, oh God, you know, ain't gonna taste, you know, but I tell you what, doesn't matter what I do, what I eat, what I drink. It doesn't matter because my body every day continuously, constantly goes through its own growth and cycle and all those changes. So I can go from that to having it like right now.
Right.
I just empty the glass and fill the glass, and this is sweet water to me. It's sweet water.
Right.
Okay.
And to let people know.
So, you know, while I'm sitting here in Studio B doing an interview with you, I'm recycling.
You're recycling. And to let people know too what you could use it for is one is distilled, of course. You could also use it to, if you don't feel like drinking it, you could put it on the wash rag and wipe down your skin, your face. It helps clean your skin.
Well, yes. No, and here's something I want to assure you of, brother. I've been doing this because I've been saving my pee for a while, okay? I'm a pee factory.
Right.
So, you know, when I wasn't looping, you know, to me, when people go, oh, it's a waste product, it's toxic, I said, when you flush it down a toilet, you just made it toxic and a waste product. Right. Other than that, you got something to learn because pee is the real deal. Now, knowing that, I've looped for a long time and I have been aging for a long time. I had up over 70 gallons overall that I had staged for aging.
Right.
Recently, just a week, but like a week and a half ago, I started processing all that aged urine. Now I have a complete sits tub. I can sit in a complete aged urine. No, there's nothing else in there but my aged urine. I guarantee you, brother, this feels like silk.
Oh, exactly.
Like silk.
Right.
Oh, man, what it does for my skin and my body is just, it's
absolutely.
off the hook.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what I was waiting for, what I was really waiting for was so I could get to a point where I could start processing the Ormus. The
Ah,
Ormus, which is, the Ormus is the gold. There's your philosopher's stone. That's the real shit right
right.
there. And now I've got a bottle. It's like, oh God, I probably got a quart in there now of the Ormus. Okay, now what I'm going to be doing with this, I really want to elevate your understanding of why I process the way I do, because
Right,
I really get it. I understand it, and I see what's happening to me physically.
right.
But more importantly, it is stem cell enzyme
Ah,
in its purest essential form.
now that is
Okay,
awesome.
so it's really awesome because it continuously tenfold multiplies in its processing.
Right.
So that's why it gets so much more powerful in time.
Ah,
Now I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to take that Ormus. I'm going to mix it with crushed, powdered organic eggshell and maybe some diatomaceous earth, and I'm going to make a paste,
ah.
which I'm going to start using to stimulate my gums in the intent of regrowing my teeth, which
Right.
have all been gone
Mm-hmm.
for a long time.
Right.
Now, in China, they're using urine stem cell enzyme to regrow and regenerate teeth. This is not just hypothetical.
Oh, right.
This is actually
People
it's
are doing it.
happening.
Right.
They're doing this.
And I'm
This
glad
is
you said
happening.
that. Sometime when I'm out teaching and somebody, when they hear all of this for the first time, they'll look at me like I'm crazy, and I have to remind them, no, there's people on the planet working on these things. This isn't just
Yes.
somebody talking crazy. It's all over the place. Governments are working on these things on many different levels.
Yes.
Right. It's just that it don't come to the masses like that, but you always find somebody who's in the know who understand what you're talking about. It's not far-fetched. Anything that the human...
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
in the information age, which we have total access to,
Yes.
it's amazing how many people are still in complete dumb down.
Oh, exactly.
They think that because they have a smartphone and they know how to Wikipedia or Google that they're smart.
Right, right.
They're idiots.
They're idiots.
They haven't got a clue. They're just looking for whatever is going to be response mechanisms there. They
Right,
didn't do any homework, no research,
right.
and they are clueless.
Clueless. Clueless. And
And
especially...
when the grid goes down, we're going to find out how smart people really are.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. And then, like I said, like we said earlier, all of this stuff is simple. All it
Yeah,
takes is
very
somebody
simple.
who want to venture into that, get the knowledge of it, and work with it. Come up with new things.
Yes.
I mean, this isn't, it's access to everybody. This is free energy, basically.
Yes.
Especially in this age of information, right? You can basically find out anything you want or go down that trail and allow that knowledge to come to you or that information. I mean, everybody's really waking up on different levels, but it's there. It's all about who takes advantage of it. Even down to the...
Well, and this is the thing. This is why I intentionally, this is my intent to incorporate my pee, my breath,
right,
and photosynthesis as an absolute, no matter what,
right.
If all the shit goes wrong, it all goes sideways. There is no food, there is no water, there is no shit, there's nothing.
Right, right.
I'll be walking down the road.
You'll be walking down the road.
I'll be still walking down the road.
Oh, absolutely. This is one thing.
And I'll be happy.
Even if
I'll be a happy camper.
Right. This is one thing I tell people. Even if you don't feel like you want to continue eating, you at least should learn more about breatharianism, just because if something goes down with the grid and stuff like this, you have the knowledge to know that you won't just die just like that. I mean,
yes.
Take yourself through that, learn as much as you can, And also, if you learn something new, bring it to the table so we as humanity could grow. See, I put myself on this mission to come out more because the more you let people know, it changes the consensus reality. And this will make it easier for the next generation or those people who didn't know who really want to do this. And it'll be there now instead of hidden or something that's far-fetched. Bring it to the outskirts. So even when I teach people, you know, I put myself as a breatharian teacher, but I'm creating breatharian teachers. The more people get out there and at least let them know it exists, whether if you do it or not, it makes it easier for everybody else. Sort of like the urine therapy. The more people know it will work, you can do this, the better it will be for humanity to be a lot more healthier and happy for everybody.
Well, yeah, and it is. It's all about the options and understanding what works for you.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's like the whole argument between, like, you know, doing salt, not doing salt, drinking distilled, not doing distilled, doing herbs, not doing herbs,
Right.
you know. I mean, it goes on and on. I mean, the tails are, you know, cannabis, CBD oil, you know, it goes on and on and on. My focus, absolutely, is if you found something that's working for you, roll with it.
Roll with it. Absolutely.
If it's working for you, roll with it.
Absolutely. That's it. It's working.
You know? Yeah. If it's working for you, you feel good, you look good, you're on top of your game, man, you got it figured out.
Right.
Good for you. Cool.
It'll take it even
What am I going to
deeper.
tell you?
If it's not working for you and you still love it, roll with it.
Yes. Yeah. You know, well, I always say when the shit hits the fan, which way you facing, man?
Right.
You know, you gotta know which way you're facing when that happens.
Right. Oh man, that is awesome.
Oh God.
But this is a good age we're in, and that's the thing about it. At least now we got more options as we bring these things out instead of being limited. That's the whole idea behind it.
Yeah. That's my whole point always. You know, you know, people want to argue about anything. Go ahead and argue. I don't care.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not going to argue with anybody about anything because I really don't give a shit that much.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
just don't give a shit enough to argue.
Right, absolutely.
You know, lighten up, man.
Right.
Let it go. Are you that important? Is your shit that serious that you got to be that significant that you have to rationalize everything to justify anything so that you can actually validate who you are because you got to prove some shit? Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Lighten up, man.
Lighten up. Because life is beautiful. And one thing I like
It really is, man.
What you said before about us changing our perception. And that's what it boils down to. For instance, when I was in the Canary Islands, me and a friend of mine, every morning we're up doing our meditation up on the volcano. And to us, our perception, we're living in heaven. We see this. The air is clean, it's beautiful, no stress. And every once in a while, you see somebody come up there, even though they're standing in the same atmosphere, the same place, their perception is so warped, the world is just dark. It's evil.
Yes.
It's bad. Wow. That's a lot of work to be done.
Well, you know, I have a tendency, and I don't know how I developed this, but I actually read energy pretty well on people.
Right.
And you know, what you're not saying says volumes. I mean, you know, basic posturing, attitude, you know, energy.
Right.
You know, you can feel it in their fields, their eyes, their electromagnetics. I mean, I don't know. I feel this shit.
Oh, absolutely.
And generally, my instincts are pretty correct on almost all occasion.
Pretty
you know,
correct.
somebody might throw me a curve, but generally I'm pretty clear on who I'm dealing with.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
really get out of that fear-based frequency, which a lot of people are into. And the media helps out also, because every time you look at the news, I call it the blues report.
Yeah, the television.
Right.
Yeah.
So it can really quickly get your mind into that fear-based frequency that works on your energy and puts out hormones in your body. Is terrible. You got to take a break from that. Take a fast from that. It's good being around joyous people.
I've encouraged this for years. I mean, I elected to step out a long time ago because as long as you're willing to keep being fed the cake and circus
Right.
and follow into those streams, let's face it, there's basically six conglomerates that run everything, and not just media, but food. Yeah, I mean, all of it.
Right.
I mean, there's really like six major players that run most everything anymore. So where's your diversity?
Hmm.
I mean, I got cable and I got 300 channels. And I said, well, yeah, but there's only like five people that run those channels. What do you think you're going to get?
Oh, absolutely. And see,
I mean, come on, get real.
and this is the key.
There's nothing independent about it.
You got this small rule, you do it by understanding frequency and vibration. They understand it. By keeping everybody on
Yes.
the frequency and vibration, that's how you do it. And all we're doing is reversing it by going into another frequency of vibration, because it all deals with energy at the end of the day. And if you get sucked
Yes.
up into that other one, and then we're like sheep trying to keep each other in, it ain't so much that somebody from a family is talking to me, that's ruling the world, that's keeping me down. It's the programmed robots around me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's minions.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, there's many levels and structures, and without being completely derogatory, we as a combined human experience, we're like sheeple being led to slaughter.
Oh, absolutely.
The indoctrination into the education and the participation with all the dog and pony smoke and mirrors, your pomp and circumstance, don't step out of line, don't think for yourself. God knows if you think for yourself, you're going to get an F on that project.
Right, right.
If you followed the protocol and memorized everything they want you to know
Right.
and learn,
Hmm.
you'll get an A+.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's amazing.
It's
I
amazing.
mean, people don't get it.
And,
It's amazing.
and going back to, well, just to bring breatharianism up, this is why I tell people it's a process, because that what you're saying, people have been doing it through habit, told over and over again. Eat that meat, eat that
Yes.
meat. That's how you get your protein. That's the only way you get your protein. That is so far in the body, so far in the cells, just because you woke up in a day and say, I don't need to eat, that program is in you and that's all it knows. You have to reprogram yourself on that level and other levels that we're talking about. All of these programs is in us. So we have to break that frequency, break that program, and put in a new program in order to change ourselves and also to change the world. But it begins with ourselves.
The way I see it is we have to shift from the brainwashing to a brain cleansing.
Oh, absolutely. Brain cleansing.
And we've been brainwashed plenty. I know, I was. I mean, there were so many things that I got lied to about that I was still, holding on, thinking that, and then I get to a point and I go, oh shit, they were lying about that too. Oh no, oh God, is there any truth
Right.
in the official story about anything? That's why I never talk about history. It's always his story.
His story.
Whatever is published.
Oh,
Whatever is
absolutely.
published. Who bought the book?
It's a mind opener.
Who runs the numbers?
Right.
I mean, really.
Right.
Good Lord.
We got a big
It's
job on our
indoctrination.
hands. But this also makes it, I guess, as a human experience, exciting, because we made our own obstacle course. We could get out of it, and we will.
Yes. Well, I totally have confidence in the paradigm shift. I really do, brother.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, I have a real confidence in the paradigm shift, in the conscious shift,
Oh,
that
absolutely.
people are actually waking up and things are starting to shift.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, you're seeing it in your experience with your retreats.
Oh,
I know that you're experiencing it. I know I'm experiencing it. I see more and more people awakening to their possibility, their potential,
right.
their You know, and that's why I constantly refer to the inside job. You got to do this yourself. You can't keep looking out there. It's not out there.
Right.
It's in here.
Right.
If you don't find it in here, you're still looking in the wrong direction.
You're still looking in the wrong direction, for sure. That's it.
But, yeah, we were all given this great gift called imagination. Now we're the only species given that particular tool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, imagination allows us to be creative in our thinking, critical in our thinking, gives us greater potential than just relying on instinct. Now, if we can formulate the instinct with the intellect and merge these ideas together and operate with that left brain, right brain,
right.
you know, and be in a, you know, in a Taoism.
Right.
Well, there it is. There's your feng shui. You know, there's your prana che. You know, your chi is all on all the time. You're just like on it. You got it, right? I mean, you know, it's not rocket science.
Right. That is very powerful, what you just said. It's all powerful. Well, right now, I'll tell you what, just by us connecting on here is changing many people's views and also helping out with the views, and the collective mind is getting this message. So this is beautiful once again. Always enjoy talking to you.
Yeah. Oh man, you're a gift to me, bro. I remember our first conversation, and that was the very day I was heading on another, you know, 6,000 miles of road trip. And that very afternoon I left, but we spoke that morning, and it was just like awesome.
And don't forget,
you know, our couple hours on the phone was just like awesome.
Now you in Wisconsin, so when I do come back to the U.S., we got to get something big going. So
yeah. Well, you come out of Ohio, right? I'm actually in Missouri right now.
Yeah, Missouri, right? So
yeah, but you come out of Ohio, is that correct?
Well, I look at the whole United States as like my backyard now.
Well, yeah, I do too. I'm a nomad. I'm a nomad gypsy. I get around.
Right. So we will be getting something big there in the flesh, and that'll be good.
Yeah.
Because
no, and I agree with that.
And especially in America, the breatharian knowledge, it needs to come that way a lot more. I believe next year it'll be really ripe to really come into there again and go around really showing people these techniques, get into this knowledge, and understand that it exists. Because right there, we had the first Pranic Festival in 2015 in America, which was a big hit in San Francisco. That was done by Dr. Edith Chan. And it was a real good event. But now I think America is ready for this next one because, again, people are waiting for different types of changes. And the health thing is really far out there now. You know, obesity is rapid, preventable diseases. And again, this stuff is so simple, but people is getting away from who they truly are. And we got to come and bring this back. So it's been nice.
Yeah. Well, and I agree. You know, I'm in every, you know, I'm actually in every continent, you know, at this point. I mean, by my analytics on my YouTube and all that stuff, you know what I'm talking about. People are everywhere reaching out. I mean, it really is fascinating to me, and I'm humbled by it.
Right.
Truly humbled. And it's interesting how, like, people in Europe, they go, oh, I think Americans are more open-minded, and people in America are thinking, oh, I think these other people are more open-minded. It doesn't matter. You can't culturally pinhole people into a pen.
Oh, exactly.
People are waking up on an individual level, but it is a paradigm shift. There is a consciousness shift, and it is moving in waves. It moves in waves.
It moves in waves.
It just moves in waves.
And like you said, I see it in my personal life, and you see it in yours. And I'm sure everybody's watching this broadcast and seeing it in theirs. So that's what it's all about. Changing yourself. It changes the world, the people around you, and we do see this paradigm shift taking place. So this is all a great time we're living in.
It's all beautiful. It's so beautiful, bro.
Yeah, it is.
It's all so beautiful.
Oh, man.
I just look for that, warm, fuzzy hug in every way, shape, and form every day with everyone, always.
Oh,
That's what I
absolutely.
look for, man. The big, warm, fuzzy hugs, man. Let's all get together on this thing.
Oh,
What are
absolutely.
we arguing about? What's the point of any of the arguments?
Oh, man.
Forget that shit.
Well, this is beautiful.
Yeah,
Once again.
yeah.
And again,
Yeah. Well, I so respect you, and I so love you, and I do have vision of us in cooperation. I do.
oh, right.
I can see us, in a unified force, sharing information from our own perspectives, because I know we both bring our own perspective to, help people understand what they can do and their own possibility, their own
Right.
potentialities.
Right.
And I think that's the real message.
That's the real
I mean,
message.
I could kick people in the balls all day long, but man, unless you get your head out of your ass and realize it stinks up there,
Right.
you're not going to get anywhere.
You're not going to get
You
it.
know?
Right. Absolutely.
No.
So this is beautiful once
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Well, wow, we've been on.
So, yeah, much love, brother.
Oh,
Much
likewise.
love, man. I so appreciate and respect your time. This has just been awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, bro. And we're on the hook with each other now. We'll be in touch.
Oh,
You know
without a
that.
doubt. I love it.
Yeah.
This is
We'll
beautiful.
continue our conversation.
And thanks
Yeah.
everybody for watching. I see your different comments down there. Thanks a lot. And you can look at my website, www.elitomelamin.com, and also the YouTube channel. I do my best in order to hit each subject dealing with breatharianism, putting it into your lifestyle. And if you have any videos you want me to do in the future, just email me, and I'll make sure to try to work on that to put it on. Have a nice day, and I love everybody.
Yeah, I love you too, bro. Thanks a lot, man. Peace out.
Peace out. Thank you so much.
And just a reminder to everybody before I go, I will be putting out a new ORIN oracle in the next day. It might be tomorrow, about the Ormus. I'll do Saturday morning cartoons as usual on Saturday. And I do have Jack Catran on next Tuesday with the ORIN Oracles Live. So with all that being said, I love you all dearly. Have a beautiful, wonderful, marvelous day. And know this. Boom! Ha! You just been loved. Ha ha ha! Dig it. Ha ha! See you around the corner, bro.
All right.
Catch you in a minute. All right, man. I'm out. Bye now.
Bye.